time, yes. अपनी IPL की लॉन्गिंग को कुकर से निकाल दीजिए, उसमें expectations चढ़ाकर उसको वापस कुकर पे चढ़ा दीजिए. But will that do? No, right? That is why I'm here to shower you with numbers juices to get you prepped for IPL 13. Here we go. Chennai Super Kings assemble. उन दोनों को हटाओ. Here. Look at this side. They've been called the Dad's Army, too old and whatnot, and all for good reason. In IPL 2020, they're one of the most experienced sides. Amongst them, they've played over 3,000 T20 games. All of that experience will need to count though, because a lot of them haven't played competitive cricket in a while. 7 of them haven't played it in 2020. Tanay last played it on that fateful evening in Manchester, July 2019. This time, CSK are in the UAE, where last time they won 4 of their 5 games. But हर बार जब IPL इंडिया से बाहर जाता है ना, they fail to make it to the final. उतना तो कम से कम करना चाहिए. CSK की बात कर रहे हैं. This year though, they've not been dealt with the best of cards. They have their backs against the wall. And that is where MS Dhoni thrives. So expect them to come out roaring. रोर करने के 2 बहाने तो Kings 11 पंजाब के पास भी हैं. KL Rahul and Chris Gayle in the last 2 seasons while opening the batting for KXIP have scored 1,045 runs. That's the most for any opening pair in the same period. अब आप सोच रहे होंगे कि अगर इन दोनों के इतने रन बनाए तो टीम तो अच्छा कर रही होगी. नहीं कर रही है. Because they end up scoring 48% of their team runs. They are in dire need of support from that KXIP batting lineup. Support. अरे support तो ये करेंगे क्योंकि IPL इस बार UAE में होती और ग्लेन मैक्सी KXIP में होती. You see, the UAE is famous for the Burj Khalifa, the Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi, and Glenn Maxwell in a KXIP shirt because every time he's there, he hits them big and he hits them fast. So KL Rahul, Chris Gayle and Glenn Maxwell. This time maybe Kings 11 can just go the distance. Talking of going a step further, Delhi Capitals would also like to just do that. And this time they've gone vocal for local. Yes, they've just taken that to another level. Openers, middle order and finishers, spinners, pacers. ये तो 11 से भी ज़्यादा हो गए. Yes, they've gone vocal for local so much that they can put out a good enough bona fide playing 11 of just Indians. And yet they have a problem. The Delhi Capitals last year struggled in the death overs. Their average was the worst and their scoring rate was well below the tournament average. इस बार Delhi Capitals, you have the firepower. But वो death overs का थोड़ा ध्यान रख लेना. आखिर आपकी ही बात है. देखने की जरूरत तो वैसे इस टीम को भी है. Okay, be with me, right? Close your eyes. When I say RCB, what's the first visual that comes to your mind? AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli. What's the next visual? It's a Chinnaswamy cheering for their team. What's the next visual? It's bowlers in death overs leaking runs. Yes, that's the problem. Umesh Yadav, Navdeep Saini, Mohammad Siraj. Look at those numbers. These are not their auction prices. These are their economy rates in the death overs. That is why no matter how much the batsmen score, they'll end up leaking it. In fact, in the last few seasons, their economy rates in the death overs have been consistently higher than the tournament average. But if Cup Namade has to turn true this year for the RCB, AB de Villiers has to fire. But he's in a spot of sorts against leg spin of late. Shreyas Gopal has gotten him out 4 times, Rashid Khan twice, Imran Tahir once in the last 2 seasons. His strike rate against leg spin comes down from 164 overall to just 130. हाँ, AB de Villiers है ना, उनके लिए 130 just ही है, तो बड़े लोग हैं ना. But this year, if he can fill that hole, RCB, you got the lineup. You got to believe. But it can also be the year of the side that does scorebo, loadbo so well, but hasn't been able to do the jeetbo part for a while now. KKR are death over doyens. They've got a good overall run rate, but when it comes to death overs, they rev it up like Shah Rukh Khan revs up the crowd with his arms wide open. Yes, and that is primarily because of Andre Russell and Dinesh Karthik. Both of them strike in that range of 200, 220, they take that scoring rate up. Now KKR fans, add Owen Morgan to that mix. Are you excited? Don't be as much. Because while the batting is very good, the bowling has struggled of late. In the last season, KKR picked the least number of wickets in the league stage of an IPL for any side ever. In the power play, they only managed to pick 28 wickets in the last 2 seasons. And that's pretty drastic. Now you know why Pat Cummins is in the side for that amount of money. Did I just say big money? Well, guess where that takes us? It takes us to the big boys from Mumbai. Although the last time they were in the UAE, they lost 5 games on the bounce. But Mumbai Indians be like, slow start se dar nahi lagta sahab. Even year se lagta hai. They've got a big middle order this year. Look at that middle order. Suryakumar Yadav, Kyron the mighty Pollard, and then the Pandya brothers. If MI finish big with the bat, their spinners disallow other sides to do just that. They have an army of defensive spinners, Krunal Pandya, Rahul Chahar and Jayant Yadav. In the middle overs last season, they had the second best economy rate as a team. That's just so miserly of a team with that big a pocket, man. Also, how do pitches behave in the UAE? In Dubai and Abu Dhabi, spinners' average economy is under 7 runs per over, while in Sharjah, it's just a little over 7 runs per over. The Mumbai Indians, आपका तो plan set है, आपका ही सही है. A team though that plans to punch above its weight almost every season, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, is the Rajasthan Royals. This year in the IPL, they are the youngest team, with the team average age of just 26 years and some days. That is also a worry, because their Indian contingent of 17 players has 12 uncapped players. Of the rest, they only have 100 games amongst them. Of that, Robin Uthappa has played 59 games. That inexperience may just come to haunt them. Add to that the fact that Rajasthan Royals in the last IPL conceded at 11.34 in the death overs. That's over a run more than the tournament average. Stokes, Unadkat and now Rajput, who was with the Kings 11 Punjab in the last season, all went for over 10 runs per over in death overs last IPL. They're basically RCB Pro Max in the death overs. But they have an army of superstars, Joss Butler, Steve Smith, Robin Uthappa, Jofra Archer. If they've got to make a mark in this IPL, they need these big guns to fire big time. Players firing, well, has never been a problem for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. At the top of their order, they have a blockbuster opening partnership. The big Johnny B and David Warner have averaged in excess of 80 as an opening partnership in recent years. David Warner is a batting fixed deposit for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. In the last season, he has consistently clocked 500 plus runs in every season. But if opening partnership is a great thing for them, towards the end they struggle. They've consistently scored less than the tournament average in death overs. And this year around, their middle order looks thin. That is why they've banked on some real young names, Virat Singh, Priyam Garg, and the swashbuckling batsman from Jammu Kashmir, Abdul Samad. And if Abdul Samad's Ranji numbers are anything to go by, SRH, you may be in for a big surprise. अर्ज किया है, कोविड लॉकडाउन में आईपीएल को याद कर करके कई हैं रातें बीती. कोविड लॉकडाउन में आईपीएल को याद कर करके कई हैं रातें बीती. लगने लगा था यही है ऊपर वाले की नीति. बट नाउ विद द आईपीएल बैक, चढ़ा दो अपने एक्साइटमेंट का कुकर और बजा दो सीटी. ऑल्सो डोंट फॉरगेट, आईपीएल इंडिया में नहीं तो क्या, क्रिकबज़ लाइव फिर भी आपके साथ होती.